Hello, everybody. We're going to wait for Robyn to come on. Hey, Shannon. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. We're waiting for Robyn. She's going to come on and talk about yoga and self-care. It's kind of a little bit of a gray Monday here. Gonna probably go get a Starbucks after this. Boost up my work a little bit here. There she is. Okay, so Robyn, I'm going to invite you in. Let's see here. What to do? Okay. She should be coming in a second. I'm so happy that I'm not coughing. I was sick last week. I had to cancel everything. So I'm glad that it is past. And now we can chat with Robyn when she comes on. Let's see. Robyn, I sent you an invite. You should be able to jump in. Let's see. Invite. Oh, let's see. There she is. Let's see. Let's try this again. Mercury's in retrograde. So I blame that. Oh no, it says she's unable to join. Let's try it again. There she is. Hello!
This is probably the hardest part of everything.
It's the hardest part. That's what I always say. It is the hardest part. Yes. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's good to see you, Olivia. Thanks for having me today.
Of course. We're so happy to have you here. So, for everybody that doesn't know Robyn is a fresh starts expert. She is many things, which she'll talk about today, but we're super happy to have her here. She's going to tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does, and we'll chat for a little bit. And then this video will be up on our Instagram page, and then it's also going to go up on Robyn's profile. So if you go to freshstartsregistry.com and you go to the experts guide and you find Robyn, you can rewatch this video if you have questions or if you're thinking about working with Robyn. So Robyn, we'll just jump right into it. First of all, I'm so happy you're here. You are one of like our real life connections that we have as our experts. And so, you know, one of the things with Fresh Starts that we're really proud of is we know all of our experts and we vet our experts before they come on, because we're really protective over the people that come to Fresh Starts to make a life change. And so we're so passionate about all the people we work with. And so we're thrilled to have you here and, you know, to be working with you. So Robyn, give us a little bit of a background. Who are you? What do you do? And kind of what's your expertise?
Okay, well, thank you. And thank you for that introduction.
Of course.
So my name is Robyn, and I have probably had a pretty jagged, twisty and turny kind of life. And I think all of that has been really beneficial for me. One of the things I've recently noticed and learned about myself is that when I'm connected to my intuition and like really listening to my heart, the right path unfolds in front of me. And I think I've always been in that dance through my life of like, but is it okay if I do this? What would others think? And I think just coming up against like external walls has really forced me to kind of go within and trust. All that being said, I think we're moving into a period in life where all of us, every single person, is being asked to live from their heart. I think we are moving into a more heart-centered way of being. I think my belief is that people are going to witness and experience that more and more. And that when we connect to our higher self and connect to our intuition, we can really just experience the miracles that, you know, come before us and all the blessings. And then when we're kind of tapped in, we can be that for other people. That doesn't mean it's easy. It's not.
No, it's not easy, and it's not. And it takes,
Isn't,
and something that is hard for people to understand, because I also kind of live with that ethos of like,
yeah.
follow your gut and you can't go wrong. The problem that confuses us sometimes is that sometimes following our gut is not the easiest answer, and it's going to be the thing that teaches us most, right?
Yes.
So following my gut to get married, the outcome was not what I thought it was going to be, but I wouldn't be who I am now if I didn't have to go through all the stuff I went through, right? So following our gut, typically we want to think like it's going to be this easy, rosy path, but it's not. But we have to learn how to like tap into our intuition. So how do you work with clients? What do you do typically? I know you do like a plethora of things with clients.
So, if I could just back up too, basically I got sick with a disease. And as people, you know, who knew me for decades were like, whoa, you look really skinny. And, you know, like I got hit in the head with my son kicked me and I had to go to the doctor, and the doctor was like, you don't weigh enough. And I'm like, oh, I had a real life physical experience that kind of knocked me back to reality, and was able to heal that disease without any medical intervention. What you do to take care of your health is up to you. But for me, that kind of reaffirmed and reminded me that, you know, I lost my voice, I lost myself, I let go of who I was. And as a result, I got sick. So in healing through all of that, thankfully I've been a yoga teacher for about 10 years now. I had been an elementary school teacher for a long time. I had a lot of practice working with like my intuition and being grounded and having like skills and tools in my tool belt, but I still am a human having a real life as well.
Yeah.
But in the process of regaining my health, which I did without any medical intervention, what I realized is that I started, you know, the books started falling off the shelves, so to speak. So I kind of stumbled upon HeartMath. And when I was sort of reading and looking into kind of who they are and what they do, I realized, oh, this is what I did. I would love to be able to do this for other people. So basically what I do now is I started my business called My Way Om, and I do work privately with people. I work as a yoga instructor, and I also have clients that I do one-on-one sessions with on the phone, on Zoom, in person if you're local. But I have to say, in these last few years, people are very comfortable doing this kind of work in this kind of format. So, and it has been successful, which is wonderful for everyone, including myself.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as a mom too, we're always trying to work around the workaround.
Yeah.
So because I have the yoga background, the education background, having the HeartMath is really like incorporating and kind of marrying all of what I believe about living from the heart. So basically what I do with clients is we think about like building resilience and, you know, understanding this bounce back ability that we all have, that if you can get so tired and so depleted and so frustrated and so worn down, that you can also recharge and renew and come back to these sort of innate feelings that are always there. They're just covered up, of joy and gratitude and enthusiasm and compassion. And when we practice that through kind of talking about the science of the heart and how the heart beats and how coherence really connects to nervous system regulation, and that when we have a regulated nervous system, we tend to have more, I say balance, but just emotions of ease, right? And there's, you know, this is more yoga speak, but ease is a more buoyant emotion than anger. Anger has more density and more like heft in our body. It weighs us down. And it kind of impacts how we see and the language we use. So if we kind of understand that the heart is where our feelings live and the head is where our thoughts live, that there's a connection between how we feel and what we think. And it's, yes, we need to connect to our thoughts and think positively. That's important. But when we get under the feelings that we've been carrying, that's when the thinking changes. And so when we can create this alignment and attunement to our authentic self, then we're engaging in a conversation or everything we do with intention and authenticity. Right. So what I'm saying and the feeling that's coming through is aligned with the thoughts and the language, right? So the feelings and the words are a match. And we know we're energy, you know, that's becoming so much more accepted nowadays, this idea that you know, we are energy, and that our dis-ease and our blocks are,
Yes.
it's the stuckness of the energy, right? And so I am a
Mm-hmm.
Reiki practitioner too. I do that work, and I align with that work because of, you know, like acupuncture, qigong, and all of that. Just the idea that we want to kind of like unclog the drain, so to speak, that
Mm-hmm.
that's the work. And when the flow is there, then there's more of the ease in our emotions. But also, like, we're so focused on, like, you know, how do we fix our head, how do we fix our head, and
Yeah.
I really think
Yeah.
we have to put our head on our body, that we, it's all the integration that
Yeah.
helps with the healing.
I love
um
that. So can you give a little bit of background about like what heart math is? Because I think a lot
mhm.
of people don't know what that is.
Yeah, sure. So if you've ever heard about Joe Dispenza, he does a lot of work where he's like very scientifically connected to the science of meditation. And he does a lot of really cool stuff. You can look him up, he's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But he is connected to HeartMath. So because I was like really into him for a long time, I kind of saw the research of HeartMath. So they've basically been around, I think, since the early 90s, researching the heart. And what they've discovered is that the heart has like its own brain, like the brain has a brain, and that it's like a much more intricate and like
Mm-hmm.
awesome system of the body. And it really does align with this idea that like we are moving into a heart consciousness. So that if we can kind of pay attention to our heart rate variability, where the, how, you know, the minute, the beat to beat ratio, that having a variation is actually really normal, and that when your heart is varying, the heart rate is varying at a coherent level, it means you're kind of sustaining positive emotions or more elevated emotions over a longer period of time. And when we do that, we're in a perfect state of health. So our emotional balance, physical balance, spiritual and mental balance are all kind of in harmony. And that is where we get sort of the nervous system regulation. So when you
Mm-hmm.
connect or talk about, you know, fight or flight, or rest and restore, you know, how to really balance that and really
Yeah.
play with rest and restore. But also, like I said earlier, that the idea that like if you can totally drain your emotions, you can totally renew them. And
Yeah.
very
Right.
interesting concepts, like if you're so wiped out from your long day and you just want to sit on the couch and watch TV, good for you if you're relaxing. But if you are frustrated when you sit on the couch and watch that TV show or movie or whatever for 3 hours, you are not changing your emotional
Mm.
state in your body. So you're actually perpetuating it, right? So
Interesting.
the conversation around what are your habits? What are the things that you do that are depleting you? And what are the
Yeah.
things you can do or begin to do to start to renew you? And some of that is a lot of breath work too. So even just when I breathe with people for a minute, you know, just sitting with your hands on your heart and
Mm-hmm.
just inhale,
Mm-hmm.
exhale, people start to recognize, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was hungry. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize I'm actually exhausted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how just like a minute of that brings you
Yeah.
back into your body so that you can
Yeah.
kind of make your next step choices, right? And decisions that are helping you take
Right.
care of you. And it's really like, it's not rocket science. It's just developing, you know, healthy habits and kind of recognizing, sometimes putting it on paper or fleshing it out with somebody.
Yeah,
And
but we're
it's,
not taught that, right? These are things we're not taught.
some people are. And I think we're moving into a level of consciousness where, for me, I just want to find those people, because there are people who live very deliberately in those states. The New York way is not that way. We were definitely raised, I agree. You know, like the
Yeah.
expectation to be on and perfect, and really like I was such a hot mess inside. I mean, I had to leave places early. I was like always like
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
you know, just so consumed with the perception of what people would think of me. And it was when I was, you know, playing the piano or dancing or like in my pajamas on the couch with someone I trusted, that I could be myself. And I just think, I think motherhood has really shown me this too, of like, you know, your kids, everyone around you, we mirror and model all the time. People do what you do, not what you say.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of this work, it's not like if your marriage is on the rocks, you have to do this and you'll be okay. It's more like in the everyday minute to minute things. Like, so for example, you know, I used to practice this early on in the training and stuff. You know, here I am in a traffic jam, and I think, okay, I'm going to do the breathing. I'm just going to get coherent. I'm going to breathe in and out through the nose. You know, I'm trying to make a left turn, and all of a sudden, somebody lets me go. And I think that was intentional. I changed my frequency. by breathing and settling into my body. And so it was a match to the person who would have let me go. If I didn't do that, this is my belief, if I didn't do that breathing and take that minute, that person would have driven right by me, because we're always attuning and aligning our frequency to, you know, hopefully higher, higher, higher. And then you meet your match, So it's like all these little things that we can do where we get the validation.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And that's very much what we believe at Fresh Starts, right? That's what we believe in terms of like putting the new things in your home. It's going to change the vibration of your home. And then you can changes your vibration. And when your vibration changes, right, you are feel more empowered and confident to make the bigger decisions about your life. And so it's all like the little things. Like it's the breathing doesn't seem, you know, this like this huge consequential thing, but it really is learning how to breathe and learning how to do all that stuff that you work with clients on. It really does change, like you said, it changes the vibration and the frequency. And I probably really empowers your clients to like do more and see more. And I would imagine.
I do, you know, the feedback is great because people they're reflecting, they're taking time. And it's questions, you know, we talk about things like communication style and what is dramatic in your life. And so, you know, what do we latch onto that's maybe drama drain, right? Bringing us down or lifting us up. And what are those patterns that we have around how we communicate? And also just, you know, what is intuition and how do we really connect to our body? When have we listened? When have we not? And known that we haven't, because we do. We're more connected to ourselves than we give ourselves credit for. But so, you know, the energy of that, and that when you're in this sort of like the heart field, but also too that like we radiate. So the energy, when you walk into a room, like the energy you're bringing into a room radiates like about 5 or 6 feet. So, I mean, have you ever walked into a room and you're like, whoa, cut the tension with a knife, you know? And we have so many expressions about it even, you know, things are like, oh, this party's great. I'm feeling so good. Like, you know, we're all connected. So we can feel, you know, maybe it's different senses, but we do cue into what feels safe and okay and what doesn't. And I think that recognizing that and then realizing the spaces or places or like the little traumas or the big traumas in our life or the places where we like tuned that out or decided not to set a boundary or stand up for ourselves because we thought but that every time we ignore that about ourselves, we're kind of leaking our energy or kind of you know, lowering, you could say lowering our frequency, but also we're bringing ourselves down to lower emotions. And when we're hanging out in emotions of frustration or density, what we're triggering is cortisol in our body. So we're kind of like activating the nervous system to go a little haywire. And so it's just, it's all connected and we are all connected. And I think that conversation around the science of the heart and really getting into the nervous system and like the little things we can do with breath work and observation, how we communicate and just absolutely coming to an understanding that like we can all bounce back from things. And then I try to keep it light too. Like I always try to tell stories of like motherhood because, you know, I feel like if I'm talking with someone and they're talking about like something heavy, I can, you know, and this is a real life example of like how many times it has been like, you know, 6:58 in the morning and your child has said mom 300 times and you're like, yes. And, you know, I'm always trying to practice that in my life too. And I don't get it right every time, but there was a time where I recently, you know, heard that mom for the straw that breaks the camel number time and felt myself start to like automatically intercept the reaction I was going to give. And I said yes in a very loving way. And my son said, I love you, mom, and just kept running down the hall. And I think like if I could just, you know, add that like that's the work. Because when we bring compassion to every situation, we're going to get that resonance back. And, you know, with children, they're so sensitive. And look, I've been there. There's been plenty of times where he said, mom, I'm like, what? You know, but wow, he was going to say, I love you. And I almost got frustrated with that. So it's just that dance of, you know, just another analogy too of like if we see, you know, someone struggling on the street, homeless or whatever, you know, do you just give them $5, give them your food, or start to say, you know, like get a job, you you know, all that stuff. And how we respond to others is based on our feelings that we're our level of
Yep.
consciousness, how we're seeing through our
Right.
eyes. And
Right.
if we could just understand that and take care of ourselves, we can
Yeah.
only take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
The more we come into alignment, the more we can be who we're meant to be. And
Yeah.
then it's sort of like, that's the ripple effect.
No, I love that. I love that. So before we go, Robyn, can you tell us a little bit more about how you work with clients, and if
Mhm.
people are interested in, working with you, how kind of you offer packages or services, and your typical kind of what it looks like to work with you?
Sure. So you can reach out to me through my website, mywayhome.com, and my email is there. And I still like to do that correspondence individually. So we could set up a consultation, or, on the phone or on Zoom, whatever you feel comfortable with, and start talking about what works for you. I tend to say, let's start with 5 or 6 sessions. We'll talk about the science. We'll weave in some of what's going on with you. We'll do some of the breath work. We can do some more somatic stuff if that works out. And then we kind of go from there. And I have clients who were good after a few, 5, 6, 7 sessions, and then, periodically call me back and we touch base. I have a client right now that I've been working with for a few months, and like, we're there. So we just keep going.
Yeah.
I've been working in schools with, adult small groups, adults and professional situations, teachers, employees, whether it's individual, whether corporations want to, invest in wellness. Coming on as a speaker, talking to everybody, and then doing smaller group sessions is something I offer, whether that's one-on-one or in small groups. That's been beneficial as well. So I try to personalize it based on the need, but you can reach out to me on my website.
Yeah,
and we
awesome.
can go from there.
She's also obviously on Fresh Starts, so you can go to freshstartsregistry.com and find her profile there. There's some information and testimonials, and then there's a button you can also just, I think, click to call you or email you.
Perfect.
So it's very easy. Robyn, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Olivia.
Telling us all about,
I
did not know all of that about HeartMath, so as somebody that is very aware of my own heart stuff, I am very curious about that. So I'm excited to learn more from you. But thank you for coming.
Cool.
And if anybody's interested in working with Robyn, please reach out to her. And this will be up on her profile and up on our Instagram. So we'll be sharing this again. And Robyn, have a fantastic day. And thank you for being a Fresh Starts expert.
Thank you so much, Olivia. It was great to talk to you today.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye.